Ahoy, cruisers! Too much? No, okay, seriously. I just got back from my epic summer road trip 1. You can follow that over on I Am Miami. But welcome back to Under the Covers Cruise with yours truly. Today we are going to talk about everyone's favorite cruise line to talk about. That would be Carnival. Quick question. After you subscribe down below, how is it that MSC manages to stay out of the news? I mean, that's a really good question. Carnival. And no, this is not about Carnival rewards. This is about their recent changes to the onboard experience to combat, I guess, let's call them behaviors. And yes, I'm trying to talk about this in a way that won't get me in trouble or canceled. All right, so I suppose all of you have heard about some of the changes that they've been making to the onboard experience. They put out a list, and some of them are things that they have already been doing, like no reserving lounge chairs, no speakers. Then they changed the curfew time. I think they raised the age but lowered the time or something like that. Doesn't really matter. You can go and find those on your own. Other people are talking about them. And this is in order to combat, I don't know how much some of people here watching for cruise content follow the cultural space, but over there, I haven't really talked about this other than to address gay people, but it's the concept of fatigue that is going around, and this is what Carnival is trying to address. And they've chosen to do some things that other people have suggested before, actually. People that are close to the issue, shall we say. And, well, you know what? Put it this way. It's terrible that they have to do this. I agree with the changes for various reasons, but as usual, everyone else is forgetting one very important thing, right? What people are talking about, the thing that a lot of people are focusing on is the ban or shift away from certain musical genres at certain times of the day. Apparently, they're going to stop doing certain line dances, and they're not allowing certain types of fans on board, apparently. Actually, no. Okay, I don't understand this, admittedly. Apparently, they are banning fans, like little personal fans, because they're used in a line dance for some reason. I do not understand this. I searched on YouTube for examples of this. There's not much out there, so if anybody actually knows how this works, let everyone else know. Let me know, please, in the comments, so I can go and check it out after you subscribe, of course. So yes, go subscribe, and then let me know how a personal fan fits into a line dance. I don't understand for obvious reasons, right? Anyway, okay, yes, I know. I have to stay out of trouble with this, despite my heritage. Anyway, so yes, the ban on hip-hop music during after hours or during club nights. Apparently, what they are going to start doing is having theme nights in the club. I have commented a number of times on the quality of music on cruise ships. I have commented a number of times on the quality of music on Carnival ships, and hopefully they will roll this change out before my cruise on Carnival Liberty in 2 weeks. I booked this a long time ago. Nothing to do with this, by the way. So I will be able to experience this myself, like in person. And I'm kind of looking forward to that. Best music, by the way, let's be honest. For music on board the ship, the undisputable, for a number of reasons, onboard music product are, any guesses? Yes, that is right. Disney and Virgin, because they own all the music, basically. Yeah, that's how that works. However, Carnival is shifting away from a certain type of music in order to quiet people down. I think that's what they hope. I don't know if that is something that really encourages bad behavior or not, but I guess they seem to think so. There were other commentators closer to the issue, closer to certain things, that also said that they should not stock Remy and Hennessy on board. Okay, I don't get it, but you know what? If that's what it takes, maybe that's what they need to do. However, one thing that nobody is talking about, and I, again, have watched a few videos on this because I was following it for the cultural aspect. And when I say that, this has gone a little bit past Carnival. People in the non-cruising space are talking about it because of the whole fatigue aspect. One thing that nobody is talking about, and Carnival has not mentioned publicly, I don't know if they're doing anything internally. I actually might ask when I'm on board, if I can find the right person to ask. The comics. Yes, the comedians that they feature on board, in a way, contribute to the situation that they're in. And I just want to let everybody know that I understand what's going on. I have sailed on Carnival Sunrise, or was it Sunshine? One of the two, and Carnival Conquest on 3 and 4 day booze cruises out of Miami. So I have been there. I have witnessed it. I have seen it with my own eyes. The comics are, I don't want to say they're part of the problem, but they certainly feed into this. And Carnival, I think you have an opportunity here to quietly, basically lecture and scold people through the comedians. Fortunately, there are a lot of commentators from this certain community that are agreeing with Carnival. They are encouraging Carnival to do this because they disagree with all the bad behaviors that Carnival is trying to quell. And they are very upfront about the causes and the reasons for this. And they are pulling no punches in letting certain people know that their bad behavior is making everyone else look bad. Again, a similar trend that I have talked about very lightly over on one of my other channels related to the LGBTQIAA++ community, and how certain parts of the distant alphabet are making the rest of us normal gays look really, really bad. So I understand. And Carnival, you have an opportunity with the comics to actually directly address this. They can they can scold. They can make fun of these people in a way that actually tells them that they're behaving poorly in a funny way. And they don't really have to pull a lot of punches, and they don't, by the way. I remember that one comedian that got in trouble on Carnival for using certain words that Karen in the audience found objectionable. Yeah, a lot of the comedians they have on these cruises actually use those words a lot. And I think, Carnival, you have an opportunity to let them know that they can go Chris Rock on some of these people. And if you follow the culture, you know what I'm talking about. He would address this very directly a few years ago, and he was absolutely right. Oh, everybody hates Chris. Wonderful show. So, Carnival, instead of having the comedians contribute to your problem, maybe you can suggest that they actually address the problems. And they don't have to do it in a lecturing Karen type of way. They can do it through their comedy. They can basically explain that these behaviors that are basically a problem for everybody are not acceptable. That there is a right way to act. There is a wrong way to act. And it's not something to be celebrated, or being on a cruise just because there is booze flowing is not a reason to act in a certain way. That they can be called out from within in a way, and they can do it in a entertaining way, but they don't have to pull punches. They can lecture people on what good behavior is with a joke. They can make fun of people for their bad behavior with a joke instead of just playing into the stereotypes. They do, actually. By the way, they do very much play into the stereotypes. It's funny if you can take a joke, but in this particular case, Carnival, I do think you have a vector to get a message out that is not going to come across like, Carnival is coming down. You're not cracking down on the fun. You're not developing rules, that target a certain group of your guests. This would basically come from within. So, yeah, Carnival, use your comics. When they're on board, when they're doing their sets, tell them that this is the message that you want them to spread. Tell them they can call out the bad behavior. They can make sure that people understand that there are bad behaviors, not bad people, but there are bad behaviors that just ruin the cruise for everybody. And there are examples of how they could do this in the past. It should not be difficult for any decent comic to do. And hopefully, if that works, some of these other things don't have to be a thing for very long. Yeah. I'm not one to, demand more rules. Not necessarily one to follow all the rules, of course, but nobody has mentioned this. Nobody has mentioned the role that the comics might play in addressing this issue. They're just talking about the rules and, what they think about them, and, either canceling their cruises, maybe not canceling their cruises, I don't know. But there you go. Carnival, you have an opportunity. Use your comedians. Use your comedians to set a good example through humor. Has been done. It has been. It has been done. I think it worked in the past, and it will work in the future. So, oh boy, if there's anything else that you would like me to talk about, let me know in the comments below after you subscribe, of course, and maybe we will talk about it under the covers on my next Carnival cruise. But not really, you know that.